Good morning, or depending when you're watching this, good afternoon, good evening, or good night. My name is Ross, and as always told, I had a voice radio. So today, I thought I'd bring you one more exclusive to end the day. It's Volcarona. Now, these new Shining Legends cards, like the two I posted earlier today, they have started to be revealed in other places, but weirdly, although people have the image of this Volcarona, I'm not seeing a translation anywhere. So I suppose that's where I come in. Well, I say I really mean Antoine Boulet, who, as we know, is a lovely man. He's given me the translation and I trust him. So, Volcarona is a fire Pokemon, which means you're hitting weakness against things like Lurantis and Decidueye GX, as well as Metagross, which has been seeing a fair bit of play lately. You are weak to water, and given that Aqua Patch is a thing, we can assume that at some point water decks are going to be a lot better than they are at the moment, so it could be a bad weakness in the future, though it isn't at the moment. The retreat cost of 1 is awesome, because a retreat cost of 1 is just good, quite frankly. And 120 HP for a stage 1 is fine. It's not great, it's not terrible, it's fine. Now the attack here is exceptionally straightforward. 2 fire energy, 60 damage. It's okay. As an emergency attacker, it's fine. I mean, if we look at the fire Pokemon we're generally playing, Volcanion EX takes 3 energy to attack. Baby Volcanion, hey Nick, takes either 1 or 3 energy to attack, and although the 1 energy attack is quite good, it only does 20 damage, and then you've got to get 3 energy on. So if you don't have a good 2 energy attack, I suppose this is okay, but we are clutching at straws, ladies and gentlemen. Even if you had a Choice Band and a Professor Kukui, you're only going up to 110, which wouldn't even KO something like a Metagross GX, or indeed a Decidueye GX. So I'm really not a huge fan of the attack here. It's fine to keep in mind as an emergency attack, but it's nothing better than that. But we're not playing Volcarona for the attack, ladies and gentlemen. We are playing Volcarona for the ability, and the ability is very nice indeed. Once per turn, you may have your opponent switch their active Pokemon with one of their benched Pokemon. And I suppose at this point it's worth pointing out very strongly that your opponent gets to choose. Now, if this sounds familiar, it probably should. It is the same as the item card Repel that came out in Sun and Moon, the expansion. And, of course, it is very, very similar to Hawlucha. Not the really good Hawlucha that I miss dearly, but the Hawlucha from Steam Siege that just has that same ability as a coming into play ability, i.e. when you play Hawlucha, you get to use this just once. This one, of course, you just leave him on the bench, or her, and you just get to use this over and over and over again every turn if you like. Now, it's not as good as having a Pokemon capture every turn, of course, but it is nice for disruption. The thing that really hurts at the moment is that pretty much every deck is playing the promo Tapu Koko that has free retreat and can often take a hit, but of course it's only got 110 HP. So, worst case scenario, your opponent sticks it up and you get to hit it. Maybe your opponent is just going to do something like that, but maybe they won't. Sometimes your opponent is going to be forced to put something in the active that they can't retreat. Or they're going to be forced to put something in the active that you can KO, that they really don't want you to KO. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is going to be amazing. I was playing on my stream the other day, twitch.tv/PTCG Radio, and I was playing Vespiquen, and I was sitting there, and I really was hoping my opponent wasn't going to play an escape rope, because its ability is what's half of an escape rope. Because I had a Vespiquen that I needed to use to attack. I had an Oranguru that I really needed to use to get some cards the next turn. I had an Unown that I really needed to use to get some cards for the next turn. And I had a Shaman that if I put it active, my opponent would take 2 prizes and win the game. And that is when this is good. When I played Donphan Prime, I used Regice. Now, Regice had the same ability, except it was on a basic and you had to discard 2 cards from your hand to use it. And I was at the National Championships the year I top cut, and there was one turn where I needed to take a KO or I was going to lose the game, and my opponent had a Garchomp C level X with an expert belt in the active, which I could not KO. But I could KO anything on his bench. so I just used Regice's ability. And that, ladies and gentlemen, is why we like Volcarona. This would be a much, much better ability on a basic, but it's so much better than Hawlucha. And the reason is, you leave him on your bench, and you can use him whenever you like. You can save it for the perfect turn, rather than hoping you draw into Hawlucha on the right turn, and that you've got bench space for him. Now you can draw into it. And of course, the great news is that being a stage 1 means it won't get turned off by Alolan Muck, which could see an awful lot of play in the future. Now, the fact that it is a stage 1 makes it an awkward tech, but then again, it's only got a retreat cost of 1, and you're not going to be attacking with it, so you can literally put it into any deck whatsoever. And I'm going to be potentially a little bit generous here, and give this 3 Wassies. This could turn out to be a terrible card that nobody plays, and I know Hawlucha doesn't see play at the moment, but the difference is, you put it on your bench, you can use it whenever you like, forcing your opponent to always have something they can stick active that they don't mind being KO'd, or that they can retreat the following turn that you can't KO. That sounds alright by me. Now, there is a comment section, ladies and gentlemen, so tell me what you think. Go nuts, be nice. Oh, and if I didn't already mention it, it's coming out in the Shining Legends set on the 20th of October. Make sure you like this video, subscribe to this channel, follow me on Twitter @TheWassie, and if you want some live PTCG radio, you can find it at twitch.tv/PTCG radio, and if you want to support the channel, you can do so at patreon.com/PTCG radio. The most important thing, as always, is to look after yourselves until next time. Thank you very much for watching. My name is Ross, and you've been watching PTCG Radio.